The system has already started, but few see it. At some point in history, the world crossed an invisible line, and most people didn't even notice, because it wasn't an explosion, it wasn't a decree, it was a strategic whisper echoing through the halls of the UN, through economic forums, through the screens of our cell phones. An idea planted as a seed, and that has now grown. The New World Order is not a plan for the future. It has already begun. We are witnessing, in real time, the creation of a new global system. More than a political structure, it is a spirit, a project that has been taking shape for centuries, designed with diabolical precision, and that has finally found its prophetic time. Governments fall, crises are manufactured, fear is cultivated, and in the chaos, they offer order. But what order is that? An order where the human being loses his identity, where God is left aside, where the truth is rewritten, and where everything converges towards a throne, which is already being prepared. And behind this silent gear, there are forces that go far beyond the visible. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. Ephesians 6:12. Yes, this video is about politics, it's about science, it's about technology, but most of all, it's about the end-time spiritual battle. The plan was never human. The Tower of Babel never ended. Do you know the story of the Tower of Babel? One people, one language, one ambition, to be like God. They wanted to build a tower that would touch the heavens, a monument to their own glory. A unified world without God, a global empire under the rule of men, and the Lord scattered them, but ambition never died. Centuries later, this same spirit resurfaced in empires. Babylon, Persia, Greece, Rome. They all carried the DNA of Babel. Centralization, absolute power, human glory. Today, he's back, but with new tools, more sophisticated, more subtle, no longer with bricks, but with data, no longer with towers, but with satellites, cameras, and algorithms. The world has once again returned to speaking one language: digital, global culture, universalized ideologies. Different peoples now think alike, dress alike, and bow to the same ideas. Ideas that have been carefully injected over decades. Ideas that pave the way for a single government, a single currency, a single religion. The Babel project was never abandoned. It just changed its clothes. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, "Who is like unto the beast? And who is able to make war with him?" Revelation 13:4. Agenda 2030 and the end of sovereignty. The single government is under construction. For centuries, kingdoms of the earth have fought to maintain their independence. People have died to win freedom. Nations have built their constitutions with blood. But today, these same nations are voluntarily surrendering their sovereignty in the name of security, in the name of health, in the name of peace. The 2020 pandemic was a watershed moment, not just because of the health crisis, but because of what it revealed about the system. Entire governments have bowed to a single command, the World Health Organization. Recommendations have become orders. The sovereignty of the people has become a detail. And now, they are about to sign a global treaty on pandemics, where the WHO will be able to dictate what a country should do, regardless of the will of its leaders or citizens. Is this freedom? Or is it already a sketch of the government of the beast? Meanwhile, the UN 2030 Agenda moves forward with its 17 sustainable goals: gender equality, poverty reduction, climate justice, digital inclusion, education for all, so noble on the surface, so dark inside. Because what is being sold as a better world is, in fact, a world where no one thinks for themselves anymore. You don't choose what to eat, the system chooses. You don't decide what is right, the system defines. You don't educate your children, the system reprograms. and whoever does not submit to this will be silenced. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds, and tongues, and nations. Revelation 13:7. The Bible already said there would be a system that would encompass all languages, all nations, and it is already being built, with global consensus. What seemed impossible in the past, one government, one structure, one narrative, is now applauded by the majority. But that is not progress. That is prophecy fulfilled. Artificial intelligence and the mark of the beast. When science becomes a throne. For years, the idea of a mark of the beast seemed distant, fanciful even. A brand that would control the world economy, a system that would know everything about you, a power capable of preventing you from buying or selling. But now look around and ask yourself honestly, does this still seem impossible? Physical cash is disappearing. In its place are central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, controlled by algorithms, trackable in real time, configurable by behavior. They can limit how much you can spend, on what, in what region, for how long, and if you step out of line, they disconnect you from the economy. You cease to exist, not by death, but by a click. At the same time, the use of subcutaneous chips is advancing. In Sweden, it is already common. They open doors, store data, and replace passwords and cards. The United States, they are being tested to monitor heart rate, location, and even emotions. All of this connected to the cloud, controlled by artificial intelligence, AI, this faceless entity, but with full access. It already writes texts, creates images, reads expressions, controls drones, makes medical diagnoses, and begins to decide what you can and cannot see. The algorithm already has more authority than the Constitution, more power than the vote, more control than any dictator in history. Does this still sound like technology? Or is it worship in disguise? And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except he who has the mark. Revelation 13:16-17. Many expect a microchip with the number 666, but the real sign may be the surrender of your will to the system when you no longer decide, when you obey, without question, when you survive, instead of living. Science no longer seeks answers. It seeks absolute power. Man again sits on the throne that belongs to God, but every false throne will be shaken. Global ecumenism and the religion of tolerance, preparing the spiritual throne of the Antichrist. For centuries, faith has been humanity's most powerful force. It has built empires and torn them down. It has guided kings, moved multitudes, and set hearts on fire. But today, faith is being reshaped, silently, patiently, spiritually. In the name of peace, religious leaders from all over the world are being called to unify their discourses. Christians, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists, all sitting at the same table, all affirming, all roads lead to God. But Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." John 14:6. So why are they erasing this truth? Because a unique religion is being prepared, a faith without a cross, without blood, without repentance, without exclusivity. A faith without Christ, but full of symbols. Ecumenism presents itself as an effort for unity, but in reality, it is a dissolution of truth. Have you heard of the Abrahamic family house in Abu Dhabi? A church, a mosque and a synagogue, side by side. But with one detail, the cross has been removed, so as not to offend. We are living in a time when faith is being molded to fit within the system. A religion that preaches love but rejects truth. A global spirituality that accepts everything, except the exclusivity of Christ. I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast full of names of blasphemy, and she was drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. Revelation 17:3-6. This woman is the symbol of a corrupt faith, a prostituted religious system that has joined forces with political power. She seems holy, but she is mortal. She preaches peace, but prepares war. The false prophet is already on the move, not as a villain, but as a peacemaker. And when the world cries out for spiritual unity, a single leader will emerge. A man with charisma, a sweet voice, and a seductive message. And many will say, this is the Christ, but it will be the Antichrist. Media and entertainment as tools for spiritual reprogramming. If the devil appeared before the world as he really is, no one would follow him. So he disguised himself as light, as fun, as culture. And today, the main stage of the New World Order is not just political or scientific, it is cultural. Television no longer just informs, it teaches. Series don't just entertain, they form consciousness. Music doesn't just rock, it catechizes souls. We are facing a generation that was educated by movies, discipled by celebrities, and evangelized by screenwriters. Biblical truth is ridiculed, sin is romanticized. What God abhors, the system applauds. The inversion is so subtle that many don't even notice it anymore. They call pride love. They call rebellion freedom. They call heresy inclusion. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness. Isaiah 20. War is not just in the skies. It is in the algorithms. You open a social network and you no longer choose what you see. The system decides. It pushes an ideology. It filters the truth. It silences the faith that confronts it. The goal? To indoctrinate through repeated exposure. Because the more you see something, the more normal it seems. And the more normal it seems, the more you accept it. And what you accept changes you. This is the invisible battlefield, a war of narratives, a war for your mind, a war for your soul. They know that before they can impose a new world order, they need a new world consciousness. And the media is delivering this perfectly. The world is not just being transformed, it is being prepared for a new gospel, for a new God, for a new kingdom, but it is not of light. And at the heart of this strategy is entertainment disguised as freedom. The economy of the end, how the Great Reset prepares the throne of the beast money, has always been a tool, but now it has become a weapon. The world economy is in a programmed collapse, uncontrolled inflation, banking crises, growing inequality, and while the people cry out for help, the architects of the New World Order offer the solution. Her name? The Great Reset. Announced by the World Economic Forum, the reset is not just a response to the crisis. It is a total redefinition of the economic system. It is not a reform. It is a replacement. They say, soon you will have nothing, and you will be happy. It seems like utopia, but it is a prison. Because when you no longer have anything, whoever supports you controls you. Private property will be abolished. Consumption will be tracked. Credit will be conditional. And your existence will be measured by an invisible but absolute digital system. We're already seeing this take shape. Central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, are being tested in dozens of countries. They are programmable currencies. They can expire, they can be blocked, they can be conditioned to your behavior. Imagine, you buy too much meat, your credit is reduced. You post something considered hate speech, your account is suspended. You frequent a forbidden location, your access is denied. It's not fiction. It's planned. It's written. It's happening. No one may buy or sell except the one who has the mark. Revelation 13:17. The economy of the end will not be based on merit, but on submission. Money will cease to be a means and will become a fence. And those who refuse the system will be considered enemies of peace, enemies of the planet, enemies of the new humanity. But the truth? They will be friends of the truth, children of the light, citizens of heaven. The throne of the beast will not be raised with swords, but with codes, not with armies, but with contracts, not with wars, but with peace agreements. And many will applaud its arrival, without realizing that they are applauding the beginning of the end. The Antichrist, the man, the system, and the final seduction. Everything you have seen so far, the treaties, the technologies, the ecumenism, the culture, the digital money, are not the end. They are the stage, and every stage has a purpose. To reveal the protagonist. The Bible leaves no doubt. A man will arise. Brilliant, charismatic, peacemaker, visionary. He will speak of love, inclusion, reconciliation. He will resolve conflicts, unite religions, bring temporary prosperity. He will be acclaimed as a Messiah. But it will not be the Christ. It will be the Antichrist, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sits in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. 2 Thessalonians 2:4. He will not come as a tyrant. He will come as a solution. He will not impose fear. He will bring relief. He will not cause war, at least not at first. He will offer exactly what a desperate world is seeking: security and meaning. But there is a price, your soul, because the system he will inherit will have already been shaped for years. People trained to accept surveillance, minds conditioned to passive obedience, spiritually empty hearts, waiting for any light, religions surrendered to absolute tolerance, young people without identity, nations without sovereignty. The world will not be forced to worship him. The world will want to worship him, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the Lamb's book of life. Revelation 13:8. This man will be just the final tip of a line of rebellion that began in Eden and passed through Pharaoh, Nebuchadnezzar, Alexander, Caesar, Hitler. Each one a shadow, but he will be the personification of the serpent. And the world, seduced by the promise of peace, will hand over to him what belongs only to God: worship. But those who know the truth will not bow down. They will know how to discern the signs. They will recognize that that brightness is not light. It is a reflection of the darkness about to swallow the world. What now? What should the children of light do in the end times? Now that you've seen all this, what to do? Close your eyes? Pretend it's an exaggeration? Hope it gets better? No. This is not the time to hide. It is the time to wake up. Awake. O sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Christ will give you light. Ephesians 5:14. The Bible never promised that the end times would be comfortable. It promised that they would be real, and that those who were faithful to the end would be saved. This is the time to be radical. Radical in faith, radical in truth, radical in love for God, above all things. As the world runs towards deception, the children of light need to walk with discernment, separated but not hidden, vigilant but not desperate. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walks about, seeking whom he may devour. 1 Peter 5:8. It's time to return to the Word, not to opinions, not to pretty speeches, but to what is written. It is time to pray like someone who understands that he is at war, to fast like someone who prepares his spirit, to speak like someone who carries fire on his lips, to live like someone who already sees eternity before his eyes, because yes, the system is forming, but heaven is already prepared, and Jesus is coming back. When you see all these things, Know that it is near, at the doors. Matthew 24:33. Don't bow to the system. Don't sell your conscience for comfort. Don't trade your faith for acceptance. Don't trade the eternal throne for earthly applause. You were called for this time, born for this fight, anointed to be light, in the midst of darkness. And even if the whole world bows down, remain standing, because the kingdom you belong to will never be shaken. If this message spoke to you, share it. Send it to those who have not yet woken up. This video may be the sign that someone needed to receive. Write in the comments, I choose the light. Because those who choose the light will never walk in darkness. Jesus is coming back. The system is ready, but so is heaven.